Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome back. Let's move on to our next piece of the Mool Montar, Nirvair. Stripped down, it means without hatred. Well, of course, we're going to go into more detail. We're going to wrap up with our little recap. Ik Onkar. The one, the Ik, the expansion Ong, the interaction Kar. Ik Onkar, Satanam. The name of truth is in all of existence, or the true name is in all of existence. We all things, all of us, bear the stamp of creation of the Creator. Karata Puruk is that the doer, the Creator, is a personality that we can commune with through our prayers, our thoughts, our processes, and Nirbo, without fear. A virtue of this personality is it's fearless. There's nothing outside of itself. It is the all. What is there for it to be afraid of? And conversely, since we are as the all, we are one with the all. What do we have to be afraid of? Right? The next step is another virtue, Nirvair. Now, I noticed that in some presentations of this, in a teaching context, Nirbao and Nirvair are put together. But from what my basic understanding of the grammar in Gurbani, Nirbao and Nirvair have a little onkar underneath. It's a little shupi under the last letter. And that functions as a pause. It makes the sound after the consonant, right? So even when you're speaking, it kind of sounds like a or a pause. So ikunkar, sometimes it is characterized with like a long flowing line over the rest of the Mool Montar, or sometimes it circles back around in on itself as a symbolic representation of ikunkar is the whole. And then all the other concepts, you have a comma, an onkar, at the end of each specific concept that you are intended to contemplate and meditate upon. So, using that logic, I decided to separate Nirbo and Nirvair into two separate discussions. Now, we learn from Nirbo the virtue of the divine and the divine within, that there's nothing to be afraid of, and we could face anything without fear. But let's examine why there is even a need to state Nirvair, beyond the fact that it is just a core principle of what the divine is. But as a teaching tool, let's see what could be without fear. Now, to be fearless and to be without fear means you could face anything and attempt to do anything without any inhibitions, right? Fearless. Okay, so I can fight. I can be powerful. But to what purpose? Right? If you've been traumatized enough, hurt enough in life, it is very easy to fall into the habit of channeling Nirbo energy and hurting others. I don't care. I'm not afraid. I ain't gonna care. Nirvair, without hatred. Nir, without vair, animosity. Nirvair, it means that in the same logic as Nirbo, there's nothing outside the one, so why should the one be afraid? Nirvair, there's nothing outside the one, so what is there to hate? What is there to despise? Both concepts, hatred and fear, rely on a concept of other. Right? Even when we hate ourselves, we're otherizing those parts of ourselves that we are made uncomfortable by. um, so that there is something to hate. And that, taken to its most toxic level, leads to self-harm and suicide and everything else. So we got it cosmically. The universe doesn't hate itself. Therefore, the universe is without hate. All the interactions are just functions in the universe. Uh, and I think that Nirbo and Nirvair are perfectly aligned in that they don't create a dualistic way of thinking. It doesn't say God is all love and zero hate. No, it just says God is, or the divine is no hate. And how can we be no hate? Well, meandering back to where I was with a person who only has Nirbo can still be led astray into fighting on behalf of hate, being full of piss and vinegar and hurting whoever stands in your way because you are fearless. No hate gives us the direction of our purpose, right? We don't act in hate when we are acting on behalf of the divine, ever. What we do is we seek to bring the universe closer to the one. And we start off by realizing that we are one with those other people, those other things, those challenges. And then we seek to unify and to bring things together because there is no room for hatred and um, friction for these elements or for these people to repel against each other. Um, Nirvair, no hatred, no animosity. Sans animosity. I've since asked about that word sans. Uh, and I think it has French origins. So take that for what you will. When we are Nirvair, we have compassion for all things, all the universe. We seek to understand where the damage is so that we can try to help. Uh, I think his name is Bai Kiniheya, who would give even the enemy water on the battlefield, is a perfect representation of Nirvair. No animosity, even in times of war and battle. Um, there should be no animosity. Yes, you do have to sometimes act for the greater good. It's like a surgeon who must cut open the body and cause little harm to create greater healing. That's how we are. If a sick acting on behalf of the divine is called upon to any form of violence, it is as a surgeon called upon to cause some harm for the benefit of greater healing, right? If someone is harming someone, you stop the harm from being done. You try to do as little damage as you can. You try to have compassion and empathy, but you do not sit there and grow hatred in your heart for the person who is in the way of that healing and that peace being brought. Now, when we think about no hatred, think about the way nature works, right? We've all seen those little videos of unlikely animal friends, right? And it's like a tiger and a rabbit or something silly like that. Um, how is that even possible? It's possible because, underneath the instinct, of which hatred and fear are survival instincts for animals. Hatred, despising things to try and stay away from something that may cause this body harm. Fear, um, an alertness to danger to this body. But we, as apes granted the Bibek Buddhi to see beyond are attempting to move beyond the whims of animal instincts and the whims of separation. So, when we are without hatred, that is our purpose. That virtue gives us a purpose. Nirbo gives us our strength. Nirvair gives us a purpose. Right? Without Nirbo, we can be compassionate but cower in the face of duty, whatever that duty is. Maybe it's just saying a kind word to someone who looks like they're struggling, or it could be some dramatic, earth-shattering battle that may happen in your life. Who knows? But we got to have our strength from the Nirbo, our fearlessness, and then we take that fearlessness and we transfer it into hatelessness, and we imbibe that in ourselves so that we can act more as the guru would, as a guru conscious being. We have no hatred. There is no animosity. When we speak, it is to the benefit of as many or to all. Right? When we act to bring people together in harmony. Now, noticed that I'm not talking too much about love per se, because I think love is misconstrued, especially in the English language, to mean attachment. And the point is not to defend the things you're attached to and to repel the things that we're not magnets. Magnets are duality, like positive and negative. One side repels and the other side attracts. No, without hatred just means that there is no animosity. There is um no clear desire to cause harm to anything. Yes, our personal lives may create situations where it is hard to embody that because we get distracted by the current situations and the dramas of our lives. But let's always, as often as possible, take the step back, settle into ourselves, be Nirvair, right? If I'm gonna use a cosmic example because I like doing those. Uh, if you have a black hole and it tears apart a whole solar system, is there hate in that interaction? No, it's just a function. It's just a bunch of reactions, right? A cool thing is that when we become hateless, it really is a huge step towards ascension and enlightenment for our own selves. We look at even people are problems or situations who before would have infuriated us and created this huge, like this disgust reaction in us. When we truly become hateless, we can actually solve those problems better. Come up with permanent solutions. The cliche of hatred begets hatred or violence begets violence. Um, it's like that. When we have no hatred, even in times where we do have to act, or even act brusquely or harshly, we do so from a place of trying to create a better world for all. Right? The universe is without hate. The universe is without fear. The universe is one that we can communicate with and commune with. Right? The universe leaves its mark upon all things, and a universe is continuously emanating from the source. I just ran Mool Montar thus far back. Now, when I think of Nirvair, I think that it's important to find those things that trigger us deep within, whether it's due to value systems that we were raised with, traumas that we've experienced, even simple, silly things like the smell of a food you don't like, right? Understand, let's like take it in within and see what is it that you are feeling hatred about. Hatred is the cause of so much anguish in this world, right? Hatred of the other. It is like the greatest soldier in the army of duality. Hatred of the other. The truth is, there is no other. That person and this person are the same divinity expressed in two different angles. So, no matter what life throws at us, remember to be without hatred. Nirbo is good. It's necessary to accomplish our mission. And the direction of our mission should always be Nirvair. Right? Sarbat Apala. Blessings to all. Not blessings to those that I like. Blessings to all. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.